just listened to some guy talk about Trump and how he was talking about that if he got back in, he was going to send like 300,000 U.S. troops to the southern border, right? So I'm sitting there like, and I'm hearing what he's saying. I'm like, wow, that sounds good, you know. I hope he does that because, you know. And then I had to stop myself and be like, wait. None of this is real. No one's voting for anybody. It's not. This isn't. I sometimes get sucked into it, man. Like sometimes I get caught unawares. My mind will be on something else, and I'll lapse back to being in the fucking Matrix, and you know. It's just funny. So I looked more at that. I've been following that story there in Miami. And I saw that footage. They had some footage there where there's like this big kind of, what looks like, what appears to be, this big sort of alien being, or that they say was an alien being. He's gray, and he's like really tall. And beside him is this other like shadow dude who they're watching. He's following them, and then he vanishes, you know. And the thing about that is they had this eyewitness on TikTok, this African kid who I believe, like I watched this video where he was giving his eyewitness of what had happened there. And you know how sometimes you can hear if someone's someone's talking, you can tell if they're full of shit or if you believe them. It's just a frequency thing. So like I'm watching this guy and I'm listening to him, and he sounds like he's telling the truth. You know, I believe what he said. The way he was telling the story, the things he chose to include, just little details that I picked up on that I thought made him seem genuine. And he was saying, you know, people have been saying, where's the video footage? He said, nobody's taking video footage while something like that's going on. And what he described is that he was in the mall with his girlfriend, and he hears what he thought was maybe like a mall shooter or something. So he said he pulled out his piece ready to, you know, for whatever might happen. And then when he got to see what was going on, he said the first thing he saw was people running. And he said, and it was like people were running, like old people, fat people. He said he'd never seen people run like that before. They were running fucking for their lives. And he said what he saw was these black kind of shaped people or things, and they looked like shadows, but they were solid. And he said when they would be moving toward people, they would vanish and then reappear closer to them. And he said that's all he got to see. And they just got the fuck out of there, him and his girl. Now, the interesting thing about that, of his whole story there, the whole TikTok thing, is now glowies on the boards are coming out saying like that he was trolling. Like that was a troll. He wasn't trolling. There was nothing funny about what he was doing, and they're trying to discredit him. So the fact that they're trying to discredit him, to me, kind of makes me feel like, you know, maybe there was something to that. I don't know. And they also are saying that the footage that I looked at and a lot of other people saw was doctored by alt-right conspiracy theorists. I'm not fucking kidding. That's what they were saying. Because anytime something it threatens them, they call it alt-right. So people will be like, oh, I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want people to think I'm alt-right. It's just a way to get people to not look at stuff. So what that says to me is like they obviously like maybe got to that guy and said, hey, tell people you were trolling. This was a troll. But he wasn't trolling. I believed him. He was telling, like I said, I don't know how you know. It's a frequency thing. You know, you can just tell. You don't have to know the mechanics of it. It's just the opposite of how you put things into the world. You're the architect, not the builder. You just know what it's going to be. You don't have to know the nuts and bolts. Same thing when you get things back from the ether. You don't need to know exactly what the frequency is, but you recognize it as something. And that guy was telling the truth. Now, the fact that they came out and are saying he was lying and it was a troll is kind of interesting. And then there's a whole other thing where it's like, am I being psyoped on like 4 different levels too? You know, like do they want you to think that they went to him to shut him down? But we've seen them shut people down in the past on stuff like this. And they're not fucking super savvy, you know, when it comes to keeping people quiet. It's like a lot of them don't really even understand how information works, it seems like, these people that work for these shadowy agencies, you know, calling people's houses to ask them to take things off of YouTube, and like, it's like they're not as savvy as you would think. So it's quite possible that they went to this guy and was like, hey, tell people you are trolling. And then alt-right people doctored the footage to make it look like there was aliens, and when there wasn't. And they have police who will tell you what they really saw on the... Like, it's so ridiculous that it's almost like it's part of the act or something. You know? Because it's just too, like... It's too Men in Blackish. It's too, like... I don't know. It's too dumb. It's too dumb. Although, I mean, I don't know. There's a high sophistication bar that goes on with any of this stuff, but... It just seemed to me like it was so obvious that it's almost like I said, am I being psyoped on many different levels? I don't know. But there's some footage, right, of this gang of kids, like this gang of African kids beating up this white guy. There's like 16 of them kicking and punching, and then they all run away, and the Caucasian guy pops up and fucking no-sells it. Like, he's fine. It's like, Jesus, the kids need vitamins or something. They just can't seem to do damage. It reminds me of the Irish and the eventual showdown with the Moors. Turns out when they're not fighting peasants, they're not much cop at punching. But yeah, I don't know. So that whole thing is interesting, but if you look at that picture with all those fucking cops, I don't think I've ever seen that many cops in one place before. It looks like CG. It looks like one of those Braveheart battles where they just, you know, they fucking cut and paste all the cop cars. It's crazy. And the airport, and now they're saying the airport wasn't shut down, but it was, you know, because people were, when it was going on, we were looking at the air traffic in the Miami area, and there was no air traffic. So they had closed down air traffic from people going in or out. There were planes circling the airport, and now they say none of that happened. They say none of that happened. The airport's never closed down. So I don't know. And this is all for entertainment purposes only, of course. I don't want to be flagged as spreading misinformation. Now, what are these things? What is this stuff? I would bet it's blue beans. Just what I saw here that day. Blue beans. And no one cared. No one cared. I'm not going to go through the story again. Basically, I have like 10 videos about it. Bottom line, there was a blue beam display here. Lasted from the first time I saw it, around dinner time when it came out with Nia. Stayed there until it got dark and you couldn't see it anymore. And nobody gave a fuck. Like when you're walking down where all the stores are, usually I'm down on like, it's called Kalakaua, the main drag there. You could look as you're walking, you could look between the buildings to the Alawai still, and you could see them. They were huge. They were bigger than the mountains that are there, and higher in the sky, and completely green. No one cared. No one was looking at them but me. And Nia saw them because I took pictures of them and showed them to people. No one was impressed. except for my friend that knows this area, and he said that he believes they have the technology at up the street here at Pearl Harbor, and I hear, from what I understand, from what I've been told, I don't know if it's true, but they have a lot of off-the-books type of projects because of the oversight situation here. You're so far away. More things are easier to have here. I know they had some sonic shit. They had some stuff that caused eruptions, which would happen on Big Island a couple years ago. That's a whole nother story. There's a lot of spoopy stuff. A lot of spoopy stuff that goes on up the street here. And we have Fort DeRussy over here too, but I don't know what goes on there. I've never heard really much about that place. They have a museum there that I always want to get to, but it's like only open a couple hours during the day. It's never when I'm awake, but I'll get over there one day. I should do a video on it. Anyway, yeah, that's the current situation as I know. These pieces of information came out about, you know, the guy on TikTok, the video footage which you can find all over the place of the alien thing. It's blurry, but it looks like a tall, like, being that is gray, and behind him is one of the shadow things, and it's moving alongside him and it vanishes. Minutes of Horror has some good stuff on it. He's that guy. I don't know what his deal is, but like, he mustn't sleep or something. I joked about it with him before. I'm like, dude, I don't know how he does it. He either has like a good team there or something, because he's on top of this shit all the time. He's pumping out videos all the time. It's a great channel. He's a cool guy too. Like, I've had interactions with him. He's really cool. Do I trust him? I don't know. No. You know, I don't think he'd, you know, trust anybody. I wouldn't trust me. Fuck. I mean, you know, you kind of have to discern this shit for yourself. You've got to put it through your own spiritual tuning fork, your own spiritual shit test, and see how it feels to you. You know, I can feel that shit sometimes. Sometimes I can't. It seems like the big things I don't see coming. Like the big things that they do, the evil people, the main bad guys. And I think it's because a lot of their shit, they do all kinds of spellcraft along with it to obfuscate their actions. I mean, that's something, that's a standard oldest time secret society bullshit. So you just don't see the big things coming, but it's these kind of little things here. Like, what was this? Like, it was almost like they wanted to do a psyop, but then they backed out on it, or didn't know how to do it, or I don't know if this was the intention, just to get people talking about it. But these shadowy people things they're not aliens, because there is no aliens, there is no space. You're not getting through that dome. There's nothing up there. Heavens are up there. God's up there. There's no planets. That's all. It's all bullshit. All the lights you see are within the firmament here. So it's either technology, which it could be, or it's a demonic thing, or a combination of both. They had this pretty crazy display, this holographic display recently. I forget what show it was. It was like it was like an E3 type thing, like a video game. Not the wrestler, but the some kind of convention. Was it Microsoft? Oh, it was what's his name? It was the Zuck the Cuck. He had a thing where he was showing off some new bullshit, and outside of the convention center, they had this 3D kind of holograph thing in the sky of this alien like reaching through, and it fucking looked pretty real. Like, if you saw that in the sky, it wouldn't take much to convince most of the people walking around out here. The problem is, if they even would care, though, because we had a blue beam thing going on here for quite a while, and nobody gave a fuck. I mean, I went across the street when it first happened to try to make sure I knew what the fuck I was looking at. And there's a guy fishing over here, which, don't fucking fish in the Aloe. What are you doing? Come on. I know this is in America and everything, and they, you know, people from different lands do different things, but what the fuck, man? You're gonna be sick. Anyway, I was like, what is that? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, that's crazy, huh? He's like, yeah. And just went back to fucking fishing. And it's like, oh, most of these people are fucking robots or something. Or, you know, they're controlled by the OS, the operating system that's in place. It just feeds into that theory. You know what I mean? Because how can you not look at that and think that that's kind of weird? I mean, and it stayed there for hours. It was there until the sun went down, until it got dark. You know, so I don't know. So you got to think, like, even if they, well, I guess the mall thing, okay, if you tried to do a blue beam situation like that, because they could easily just put the holographic images right there. And the way the kid was describing it, the eyewitness there was saying they would move toward people and then vanish and then reappear closer to them. You could do that. You could do that shit. He said they look like shadows, but they look solid. And there's one in the video. It's up in the corner. Again, I'll link Minutes of Horror's video because he points it out really good. And he shows it. So now they're saying all that was bullshit. That was a doctored footage by alt-right people. And the African guy on TikTok. I'm using the term African because I don't use black. Because you say black, you say white, you end up in some kind of fucking struggle that they want you to be in. So this kid, people are from Africa, he's African. Okay, he may live in America now, his family may have lived here for generations. I'm Irish. I'm not white. Fuck you. I'm not playing your little game. So I believe that African kid. Because it just, I don't know, watch it yourself. And if it's still up, because they've been striking this shit down. Minutes of Horror has, again, fucking think I'm doing an ad for him. He's got all these things I'm talking about. He has. So I'll link the video, and you should go check it out. And basically, what they're saying is everything in his report is not real. There were a gang of kids with fireworks, and because of that, 150 fucking cop cars showed up. The airport closed down. And now they're going around trying to silence everybody. I don't know. I mean, and I think too, like, because you have to kind of, whatever it is, it's always good to try to think like way ahead of it. Like, never take anything like at face value of what they're doing. So they could be purposely making this whole thing to get people to talk about this stuff. This could all be planned, from the shutting down of people and the claiming it's not real thing. That it could just be part of it. I don't know. Kind of weird, man. I don't know what to think about it, but I'm watching it. You know. Oh, I got my eye on it. I got my eye on a lot of things. I need more than 3. Thanks for dropping by. It's always good to see you. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.